You are Chappie.
Chappie. Good, yes!
It's like a child. It has to learn.
So the first thing I just want to talk about is when I was kind of watching this character unfold is it must have been kind of a head trip for you as an actor. I mean, this would, if I were doing this, it would make me kind of confront things a little philosophically. I'd have to look in the mirror and be like, okay, well, who am I? What is my soul? What does that all mean? I mean, was that kind of a philosophical head trip for you trying to portray all this?
It was. I tried not to overthink it too much. You know, I went very much into the idea of just a kid and somebody, a life form that's kind of born. I used humanity, obviously, as a frame. I didn't focus on robots. I just focused on, well, if you're a consciousness and you come into the world like a baby does. That's really the challenge of doing character acting, is kind of leaving yourself at the door. And, you know, Vickers in District 9 was an example of that, of like you actually playing a character and have it strip away during the process of the film. His identity is slipping away from him. This is the reverse. This is like starting with nothing and having an identity slowly start to build up. You're reacting to the environment around you. And you've got these two different parental kind of role models, from Dion Foote as the kind of gangsters and Dev's character who wants him to paint and read poetry. It's Dion Foote who wants him to commit armored car heists and, you know, make his ego big and powerful and get bling and get, you know, be somebody and get the money, get the monies, you know, as they call it. And that's life. That's the challenges that we have as human beings.
Just reading into the production notes, you really had to kind of open up a new dimension of performance with this, doing performance capture, and you took some unique approaches to really kind of help yourself push that. Can you talk a little bit about that?
The biggest challenge was that I knew he was going to have to behave like a gangster at various times, and wardrobe is a big deal for me in character, and I know gangster clothing is not tight-fitting leotard type stuff. Gangster clothing is loose in almost any gangster culture in the world. And that was worrying me, so I did some tests and I came up with a way that I would sort of get my gangster on, as you would say. I got these little pair of shorts and I got a belt, and I would loosen the belt when he had to get gangster and ride my shorts down my backside like halfway down, you know, as gangsters do all over the world.
Look how Daddy walked. Look how cool he is. You need to keep a gangster. You need to keep a gangster. Yeah, be cool. Don't laugh at being cool.
So the first thing I have to ask is just kind of looking over your filmography from films like this, like Paul, like Cabin in the Woods. What happened? When did you go to being our hero to the leader of every evil organization with a master plan?
Let's get my agent on the phone. It's true that my character in Chappie is a CEO. You know, I can't help it. I'm in this genre. It's always the script that's going to lure me, and I don't really care about the part. I figure I can make it work. And it was interesting for me to journey inside this woman who'd worked so hard to become what she is, and now has to wrangle these various eccentric geniuses who are under her command and try to get them to do what she wants.
I know every sci-fi fan is going to want to know, which body consciousness transfer method do you prefer? The one we saw in Avatar with the Na'vi, or the Chappie method?
Gosh, that's a good question. They seem quite different to me. I mean, one is kind of permanent, and the other is sort of like a secret place you go to. But I don't know. That's true. I hadn't even thought about that parallel. Be curious to see what Jim Cameron thinks of the movie. Destroy that robot. Burn it to ash.
Where are you going, mate?
Speaking of which, we know just a little bit about your Avatar 2 character, but not really much. Is there anything you can tell us about that, or is there anything that Jim Cameron's working on that you know will blow people's socks off? I mean, he's always kind of working on something like that.
Well, you know, if there is, I can't tell you about it.
Okay, fair enough.
I've seen the artwork, and I've heard the story, and I have a great character, and that's all I can tell you.
All right, last thing. Talking about other franchises and kind of from then to now, I know Ghostbusters has now made this huge announcement about how they're going to be continuing this franchise, but for a long time, you and the rest of the original cast were kind of on this bubble of, will you guys be back? And now they've kind of gone in this different direction.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I think that's awesome. I think it's great. I think it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait to see it.
Will we ever see you pop up anywhere in there?
You know, they might have us pop up as Marshmallow Man or something. I don't know, and then destroy us. I don't know. I hope they'll think of some silly way for us to be in it. Maybe I could play that ancient librarian who goes.